following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Wednesday morning, good morning. How are you today? I'm Adrian Kennedy, and between now and midday today, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks, the mid-morning talk and phone-in show for Dublin, by Dublin, and about Dublin. On this morning's programme, amongst other things, and we do have a lot of stuff to get through on the programme today, head lice. I'll be talking in just a moment to an angry mother about why her daughter was sent home from school. Also in about 10 minutes, how safe are you when you're driving through the city at night on your own? We talked to a woman who was almost a carjacking victim the other night. One thing saved her from it. And it's such a simple thing. And it's something we all should do. And she did it, and that's what saved her. I'll explain what I'm talking about in a couple of minutes. It'll all make perfect sense. Here's a question for you. Are you either very tall or very short? We'll be finding out some of the daily struggles the people who are either very tall or very short have to deal with. We also find out why residents are being urged to squeal on the stockpiling of bonfire material. And I'm asking you a simple question. And my simple question is, are they being killjoys? When I was a young fella, we had great fun in the run-up to Halloween, collecting bonfire material. But are they being killjoys for urging us to, well, basically squeal on people who are kids who are out collecting bonfire material? Yep. You with me? Okay. All that and much more between now and midday today, live from Dublin City Centre. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Now, one of our listeners has been in contact with us about why her child isn't being educated. Julie has 3 daughters who go to a north side school, and the youngest one keeps getting head lice, and the school says she can't come back until they're gone. And I'm joined on the line by Susan to tell me a little bit more about this story. Susan, welcome to 98 FM.
Hiya.
Tell me a little bit about your daughter and what has happened.
My youngest daughter, she's 6, she keeps getting head lice, and then I have another daughter, 7 and 10, who goes to the same school, and the principal says that they're not allowed in school until their head's clear. And 2 of them's got learning difficulties, so they need all the education they can get. Okay,
so how long has your daughter had head lice?
The youngest one's getting them off and on the last few months.
Off and on the last few months. And what about the others? What about the other 2?
No, they only had it once, but their hair seems to be clear, but the principal's trying to say they've got head lice as well. And I went through their hair and there was nothing in the older two's hair. Now, how different? You said your younger daughter just keeps developing head lice over and over again. Yeah.
How does it happen? Explain to me about head lice.
It's just a sort of crawlies in your hair. It makes your head itchy.
Right.
And I've done everything I was told. The conditioner, tie her hair up, but she just seems to still keep getting them.
No matter what you do, no matter what treatment, I assume you've used special shampoo and creams and everything else, and nothing seems to be getting rid of them.
Yeah, even I was talking to the health nurse, and she showed me how to do it with conditioner, and I've been doing that the last 2 weeks, and she just still seems to be getting them. Her head was clear on Sunday, and when she went to school on Monday, the principal rang me, says she's got head lice again, and they're not allowed, the 3 of them's not allowed back in school until their head's clear.
Right, so she missed a few days already. She's off again today. She was off yesterday. Yeah. Now, the school will argue that we can't have a child with head lice in the school for fear of spreading head lice. And other kids ending up going home with head lice. Yeah. I was interested in some statistics today that it's estimated that 1 in 10 children suffer from head lice at any one time, with 80% of infestations occurring in children between the ages of 4 and 16. Have you any understanding as to why the school has said, no, I'm sorry, she can't be here while she has head lice?
I don't understand, because they're not every child gets head lice.
No, I know. I understand that, and you're right. Most children do at some stage or another get head lice. But by her having head lice in the school, is it not risking the spread of head lice in the school?
Well, it is a risk in people she sits beside, but obviously there's other people in the class that has them, and she keeps passing them back to her.
Okay, so the school have basically said she can't come back until you eliminate the head lice, and your problem is you're doing your best, you're trying absolutely everything you've been told, and nothing is eliminating the head lice.
Yeah.
If anybody else has been through this issue, I know it's something that many parents have had to deal with. I'd love to hear from you. Text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. If you've ever had that issue, how did you deal with it? And give me an idea, Susan, of the sorts of treatments that you have used.
I've used the light clear and Adrian. I've used the conditioner coming through the hair to make sure the head's clear. I put everything on her hair, even protection spray, the tea tree oil. It's supposed to stop getting head lice as well, and Adrian protection stuff as well. Okay,
so you've literally done everything and anything that you can do.
Yeah.
Apparently, one of my friends just sent me a message this very second. Now, I don't know how you actually apply this, but I've just been texted. Tell her to try, and this is from a personal friend of mine, tell her to try mayonnaise. It's foolproof. Now, have you tried that?
No, I haven't tried mayonnaise, no.
Yeah, apparently. Now, this is a friend of mine, and she's saying try mayonnaise. It is foolproof. I assume you just run a bit of mayonnaise through her hair, and directly, she's saying to me, directly from the jar, spread mayonnaise into her hair, and that'll kill them off straight away.
Okay.
Which would be, this is a friend of mine telling me that it worked for her daughter. Just run some mayonnaise through her hair directly out of a mayonnaise jar.
Okay, I'll try that then.
Stay there for a second. Lorraine, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Ed. How are you? I hate talking about that because I feel itchy all over.
I know, I do myself, I'll be honest, yeah.
Well, I mean, I had one child that just kept getting head lice. Now, I could deal with it myself, but it was a boy, so I know a girl is totally different, and if she has long hair, I know it's a nightmare to get them out. But what I could suggest is, I know the fine comb, but I mean, if she puts lemon juice in the child's hair at night and puts a shower hat on her head, it will stop them from coming back.
Lemon juice?
Yeah, lemon juice.
Right, okay.
Now this is after you've treated the hair.
Yes, of course, yeah. In fact, here's what...
And I text in at the head lice company. Now, I've heard from other parents who've gone there with their children. I don't need them now because mine are big, but they do say that they are brilliant. They are absolutely brilliant. You bring your child in and they deal with the problem for you. And I know anyone who's brand new, I don't work for the company now, so I'm not plugging them.
Yeah, you're not plugging them, yeah.
I just heard great reports about them, so if she's really that worried, at least she can say to the school, well, look, I brought my daughter here to this company, they've done her hair, and she's totally clean now, so it's someone else in the class who's given it to her. Because my child used to keep getting them all the time. They'd be clean, they'd go to school, to come home, and he'd have it again.
Right, okay, so no matter what you tried to do, and it's obviously a case that just some children are more susceptible to them, I suppose.
Children who sweat, I think, are more prone to getting head lice than kids who aren't as sweaty. Do you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. You know, behind the hair, under the neck, you know where the neckline is?
Yes.
Behind the ears.
Yes.
That's the hottest place of the head. So that's where the head lice love to go. And if a child is warm and sweaty, that just is lovely for them. Do you know, I know this sounds really disgusting to talk about, but they actually, and I know they're little blighters to get out, but I mean, you just have to literally hold the child tightly between your legs and go with the fine comb and get them out. That's really the only solution, is to get them out with the fine comb.
Okay, so your advice...
I done kids' hairs before because their parents were too about it, and when I say I've seen some head lice in my lifetime, and I'm saying that they were like earwigs, they were that bloody big, the lice that louse themselves, you know.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. So your suggestion is to try lemon juice.
Lemon juice. Once the child's head is clear. And you don't cut the child's head using the comb, because the lemon, real lemon juice, a fresh lemon, cut it and squeeze it into a bowl and just put it through a comb and put it onto her head, like you'd be doing conditioner. But if you're after cutting the child's hair now with the comb or scrabbing it or anything, it could sting a little bit for the child too, so it would be quite pleasant. And put it on the head overnight, and a shower hat. So, it actually seeps into the hair itself, because they won't actually lay eggs on a hair that has lemon juice. And it smells a lot more pleasant than mayonnaise.
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah. And then also put a cap on it, put some sort of a cap on their head overnight. A shower cap, yeah. Susan, are you taking all this in?
Yeah, I'm taking it in, yeah.
We're going to have this lice gone by tomorrow, okay?
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. We've loads of calls about this. It just shows you how widespread a problem this is. Alma, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Alma.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks, Alma. Tell me, your daughter had them recently.
Yeah, just about 2 weeks ago.
And you had to keep her home from school as well?
I found out the night, but no, it wasn't anything to do with school. It was just to do with me. I just wouldn't send her, because obviously you're creating the problem worse in the classroom, so you could end up getting them again. So I just kept her out to treat her.
Okay, and what did you do to treat her?
I basically went into the chemist. The night we found out she had them, she actually just had a shower and she was itching, and I ran the comb through it and I found a couple of lice. So I kept combing her hair, which is normal conditioner, to get all the lice out, to make sure no eggs were laid that night. I put the light clear in the next morning for 8 hours, and I spent 2 hours scrubbing her hair. And for the last 2 weeks, I check her hair every night. Because if you leave one egg behind, it starts the whole cycle again.
You're in trouble again, yeah.
You're in trouble again. And you have to wash bed sheets, pillows, anything.
And as a matter of interest, Susan, have you done all that, washing bed sheets and pillows and all that?
Yes, I have done all of the bed sheets and pillows and all the rest of it, and fine comb and the conditioner and all.
I constantly use tea tree shampoo and conditioner, and when she got them, I ran out of it, and I think that's why she got them.
Constantly right, okay, so you need to constantly use it.
Yeah, I use a leave-in tea tree conditioning. She just sprays it on her hair every morning now going to school, and that's it. I'm making sure that we don't get it again, because she has very long hair.
Okay, right. So that it does, but you have to be at it constantly.
You have to,
even when they clear up.
Yeah, you have to check all the time, because once you get one knit in her hair, they lay eggs so quickly that it's hard. Now, the lemon thing is great, but don't put it in the whole hair. You put it behind the ears and at the back of the neck, where they live behind the ears and the back of the neck mostly, because that's where the heat is. So don't put it all over the head, because it will itch. It will burn, it will hurt her. So just behind the ears and the back of the head.
Okay, and one last call. Thomas, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Thomas.
Adrian.
Good, Thomas. What's your advice?
Kerosene.
Kerosene?
That's it. Poison number one.
Sounds a little bit dramatic and a bit smelly.
Oh, it's very, very smelly.
Yeah.
Very smelly. And Mom used to do it. It's a very, very old way of getting rid of the head lice.
So you just rub kerosene through your hair?
Yeah, just industrial kerosene all over the head.
Which is like domestic diesel?
Yeah. Now, when you buy all these shampoos, for the head lice, even those shampoos have a little bit of that smell of kerosene. Mm-hmm. So you just put it, just put the kerosene all over the head and just leave it for a few minutes, and it's all gone. Okay. But then you have to wash it again with the shampoo for a few times, because the smell will be very, very bad.
I can imagine. I don't even like to get a bit of diesel on my hands because of the smell of it. But, right, that's an interesting suggestion. So, Susan, the suggestions are lemon juice, mayonnaise, tea tree oil and kerosene.
Okay.
And like I said, my friend who was on about the mayonnaise, she said it was a doctor in Temple Street who told her to do that with her own daughter a couple of years back. You put a shower cap on overnight, and she swears by it. She said it was foolproof. So there's a couple of suggestions. But just back to the school and the fact that the school won't let your daughter be there while she has head lice. I think an awful lot of people do understand why that is. That if she goes in, then 2 or 3 kids might bring head lice home with them. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So try anyone... Yeah, lots of people suggesting lots of different ideas, but they're the main ones. Lemon juice, mayonnaise, tea tree oil, or kerosene. I don't know. I wouldn't be mad about putting petrol in my child's hair, but
no.
But still, there's some good suggestions. So she's at home today.
There's 3 of them at home today, even though 2 of them's clear. She won't let the 3 of them in the school.
Right, okay. Well, hopefully obviously you're going to work on this today, and hopefully you'll get it cleared up so that she can go back to school as soon as possible.
Yeah.
All right, good to talk to you, Susan. I wish you well, and I hope you get that cleared up as soon as you can.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much indeed.
Bye.
There you go, that's Susan. Yeah, it's something we all even had as kids ourselves, wasn't it? At one stage, an unbelievable reaction to that, because everybody has had to deal with it. All right, we're going to take a very quick break. On the way after that break, how safe are you driving alone in Dublin at night? We hear one woman's story about something that saved her.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
With Des Kelly Interiors. New carpets fitted in time for Christmas. DesKelly.ie.
98 FM.
This is Adrian Kennedy with you until 12 o'clock. Now, I want to draw your attention to a post that was put up on Facebook by a lady called Karen, and she has a kind of a timely warning with the clock's about to change in a couple of weeks, and the dark evenings and everything else that we're facing over the next couple of months. This lady has taken to social media to highlight something very dangerous that is going on in our city, and how you can very easily prevent it from happening to you. Her name is Karen, and she joins me on the line. Karen, welcome to 98 FM. Tell me what happened to you when you were driving home the other night.
I had been out with friends on Sunday night, and first night I'd been out in ages, and I had dropped a friend home to Tala, and I was coming home, and I had turned up onto the Limekiln Road, and anybody that knows the area will know where I'm talking about. There's a primary school on the right-hand side that is just closed down. That's now a construction site, and just opposite there is a gateway going into the bottom of Clyman Park, and a guy appeared out of nowhere to slow me down. He was literally in the middle of the road. I had nowhere to go but to slow down. And in the back of my head, I just said to myself, just don't stop this car, because I didn't know what was going to happen. And as I slowed down, another guy appeared from the gates of the park and just pulled on the passenger door of my car. Now, thank God I had the doors locked. Okay. That's all I can say. Thank God.
So what time of the night was this?
This was at 5 to 3 in the morning.
5 to 3 in the morning. Okay, so yeah. the one guy came out in front of your car, and another guy came out of nowhere to try and open the back door of your car.
The passenger door, the passenger door on literally at the driver's. So, the front door of the car on the passenger side. Okay,
now you contacted the Gardaí in Crumlin, and they believe it may have been linked, or these guys may have been up to no good around that area.
Yeah, when I as soon as I got in the door, I rang the guards in Crumlin, and the guard that I spoke to had literally had said to me about 20 minutes beforehand in Hillsbrook, in Perrystown, that basically 2 guys were trying to break into cars down there. Now, anybody that knows the area will know the vicinity. And I was saying to myself, how would they have got up to Limekiln Road so quickly? But anybody that knew the area, and if these guys knew the area, they probably would have cut up through Limekiln Lane and across through Fernhill to bring them out onto the Limekiln Road. Because that was literally only about 20 minutes beforehand. And as the guards were saying, they were just probably trying to get out of the area quickly, because the guards had been out looking for them at this point when I rang in. Okay,
and then they obviously wanted to rob a car or hijack a car, and you were it. And I think that the message that you want to get across is the importance of having your car locked when you're driving.
Exactly. I'm forever saying to my partner Steve, he does shifts, so he would leave the house about 5:30 in the morning, and I'm forever saying to him when he's leaving, just make sure you lock the car door when you get into the car, especially coming into the winter months, and especially on routes that you're unfamiliar with, and if you're driving in an area that you don't know. You just don't know what's around the corner for you. So please, if you're driving, whether you're male or female, lock your doors.
Now, I have to say, it's something that I'm very conscious of, and I'm fortunate to have a car that as soon as I drive off, it locks the doors automatically.
Yeah.
And I know many cars have that setting. Some people disable it. I can't understand why you would, but it's just a case of getting into that habit of when you hop into the car, lock the doors.
Yeah, literally. And all I can say is that I'm putting it down to now. Monday I was still shaken up, but I'm grand now this morning that you just don't know. All I can say is it was my saving grace, Adrian.
Okay, so the reality of it is, had you not had the car doors locked, you could have been reefed out of the car and your car robbed and the guy's gone and you left at the side of the road.
Yeah, and thankfully, at the moment, I'm recovering from a knee injury, and I could have set myself back weeks, months with that.
All right, but it's a timely warning, especially at this time of the year. The clock's about to change in a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
It's going to be very dark, very early. So please just bear it in mind. What could have happened to Karen had she not had her car doors locked. Make sure you do the same. Make sure you lock your car doors.
Exactly, Adrian.
All right, great to talk to you, Karen, and thanks for joining us on 98 FM.
Bye-bye.
Now, Jeremy's here in studio with me. Do you lock your car doors?
I never did. That's the truth. I never did. And the car that I bought 2 years ago has the automatic thing, which I don't particularly like sometimes.
Oh, no, it's great.
But sometimes
you don't forget it.
Yeah, I understand that, but I have this feeling that you're locked in your car.
No, you pull the handle and the door opens.
Yeah. No, but the fact of the matter is I didn't. And it's true what she says there. You could be driving through the city centre at night and you're stopped at a junction and you see people walking to the side of your car. Now, maybe they're just crossing the road, but sometimes they could be trying to do that. It's something I always tell my mother. My mother drives, like that woman, my mother drives late at night a lot of times, and she has a much older car which doesn't even have the central locking button. You know, the button on your dash. So you literally have to manually lock every single car door, and I'm forever telling her to lock all her cars, and she said, nobody would want to rob my car. Nobody would want to rob an old car like mine.
It's not. They can open your passenger door and rob your handbag off the passenger seat.
They can drag you out of the car.
They can drag you out of the car, which may have happened to that lady the other night had she not had her doors locked, and that's the point. And like I said, I've a car that automatically locks as soon as I pull off, and I find it very secure. And you're not locked in, you just open the handle and the door opens. So, anyhow, you have a story for me about people who are very tall or very small.
Yes, this is a story, very fascinating story on BuzzFeed today. And it's all about the drawbacks of being either very tall or very short. And people who are very tall or very short have been posting about how life can be very difficult if you have height issues, okay? And it's called the absolute worst parts about being very tall or very small. Okay, so we're not talking... This wouldn't really appeal to you because you
because I'm average height.
You're an average height, so you don't suffer problems from either side. I'm quite tall.
You're only about 1.5 inches taller than me.
1.5 inches can make a lot of difference. What height are you?
5'10".
Oh, geez, I'm much taller than you.
What are you?
I'm 6'1".
Oh, are you?
Yeah. And with these, look.
Oh, yeah, those feet, yeah.
With those heels that I have on me at the moment, I'm about 6'3". And there's a list of different things. These are probably things, Adrian, that you never even thought of because you don't have height issues. But I know there's people listening to the show right now who are quite short or quite tall, and they're saying, oh my God, I'm glad 98 FM are actually devoting a bit of time to this because I have had to suffer this all my life.
Well, okay, we want to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What are the inconveniences in your life of being very tall or very small?
Okay, can I give you a few about being very tall?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
you're just put this in context. You're not very tall.
I am very
You're
tall.
not. 6'5" is very tall.
Okay, well, I'm 6'1.5", I think, or something like that.
Yeah,
so
go on,
I
anyway.
am quite tall. Here's one problem. When I'm hugging my wife for photographs, it always looks really, really awkward because my wife is quite short. She's a short arse and I'm a tall arse. And when we stand, we were at an event, a social event there last week, and the photographer said, "Can I get your photograph together?" And I put my arm around her, and it's impossible to hug somebody when you're tall without it looking awkward.
Right.
And in this photograph, it's like I'm bent over sideways and I'm doing me back in, and I'm like, trying to hug her. It's very awkward. I don't like hugging my girlfriend or my wife in photographs. I really don't. It's not
Okay,
nice.
text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. If you are tall or short, we want to hear about the daily problems you have in your life. I mean, these are kind of first world problems, really.
Well,
but
they're not really.
are they not?
No, they're actually not. Here's another problem I have being very tall. I wonder if anybody can relate to this. It's impossible to do a wee on an airplane when you're tall. It's impossible.
Just sit down.
What man sits down for a wee?
Well, I would if I had to.
Yeah, I don't like sitting down for a wee. That obviously feels a bit. But those of you who are really tall, you will understand that when you get into the toilet on a plane, you know the way the roof sort of curves towards you, and you're sort of. I go to a wee by leaning back on a plane, so I'm like, yeah, there I am. I'm back here trying to go to the toilet. It's virtually impossible for a tall person to do a wee in a toilet on a plane.
Okay, so if you're very tall or very small, what are the problems that you have to put up with in your life?
Now, here's the problem my wife has.
Yes, go on.
You're saying this isn't a serious problem. It is. My wife can't change light bulbs in her house.
Can she not just get up in a chair?
Even with the chair, she's still too short to reach the lights in her house. We have those, those plug-in halogen lights in the ceiling. And she will, literally, if a bulb is gone in the house, she won't be able to change it until I get home. And in fact, one day, she was so desperate to change the bulb in the ceiling that she put one chair on top of another chair to try and change the light, and she nearly broke her back.
How high are your ceilings?
Oh, we have very high ceilings, yeah. We live in a palatial house, Adrian. It's a palatial house. Okay?
It's a dog box.
It's not, but it just has very high ceilings. It's palatial.
Okay, if you have any issues being either very tall or very small, I'd love to hear from you. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98 and let us know what inconveniences in your life have you got from being either very tall or very small.
Especially if you're a very tall woman, I'd say you have a lot of issues, don't you?
I think it's probably more difficult for a woman being very tall. I was talking to a woman last week and she was towering over me.
But she was taller than you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd say it is more difficult. I'm 6'3", says Kyle in Tullamore in County Offaly.
How's the weather up there, Kyle?
He's only 6'3" now.
No, I meant in Tullamore.
Oh.
How's the weather?
And I get a lot of back pain because I'm always slouching down.
Yes, I find that I'm glad you brought this up, Kyle. If you're buying something at a kiosk, Adrian, or if you're in a bank or something like that, you always have to bend down to the woman. So say if you're in a bank, yeah?
Yeah.
And she's at the countertop, yeah? And you're up here, yeah? How are you? And you have to bend down and go, how are you? Can I get a cash withdrawal there, please? And then you slouch back up. And then she asks you another question. Sorry, what's your bank account number? Back down. My bank account number is 526. And it does. Slouching actually causes a lot of back pains.
Okay, keep your messages coming in to 0877 98 98 98. If you're either very tall or very small, what sort of issues does it create for you in your life?
Mairead says, I'm so tall that I can't sit in the back seat of a car because I've nowhere to stretch my legs. And she says, how pokey must your car be?
Every car is pokey enough at the back.
Here's another message. I don't know if we can say this. This is from Frank. And he says, lads, have you ever been to the Gaiety Theatre for a gig? The seats are so close together that I have to put my legs up in the air nearly. Now, I've been
They are very tight.
Or is that the Olympia where they're very
both,
tight?
Both, actually. Both.
Yeah.
But the Gaiety is very tight.
See, the Gaiety and the Olympia Theatre were obviously built when people were a lot shorter. We were all literally pygmies when they were built. And if you've ever been at a gig in the Gaiety or the Olympia, the seats are literally right up in front of you, aren't you? And they're impossible for tall people.
I'm 6'5" tall, and it is hard to find a girl who's tall like me. You see, if you're 6'5" and you're going out with an average height woman, which would be 5'5", you are literally a full foot bigger than her.
Yeah, so how do you kiss her?
You have to bend down.
Yeah, and that's awkward, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah.
But how if you're a tall man and it's a short woman, how do you get the first kiss on the first date? Because you know the way if you're more or less the same height, you can just you can smooch the person. But imagine okay, so you're up here, you're on a date, I'm going to kiss you now. Hang on a sec. Oh, Jesus, let me just bend down. You know what I mean? It's not very romantic, is it?
Okay, here's another one. I am 4'11", and it constantly annoys me having to ask staff in a supermarket to reach to the top shelf to get something for me.
Well, that's what they're there for, in fairness.
No, it's not really what they're there for. Not to take stuff off the shelf for you. But yeah, I can walk around a supermarket. I'm an average height. I never have to ask anybody to reach up to get something for me. But my missus has to do it all the time. She's short enough. And she is, if we're... we keep the beans on the top shelf.
No, they never have the important food on the top shelf in supermarkets.
No, but I'm talking about at home.
Oh, at home,
If she wants a can of beans out of off the top shelf, I have to come and get them. She can't get them herself.
So why do you put beans on the top shelf then?
Because we've other more important stuff on lower shelves.
There's nothing more important than beans.
No, I agree.
Yeah, to be honest with you.
But yeah, she has to always ask me to take the beans off the top shelf.
Now, here's one I never thought of as well. Keep the texts coming in. Text or WhatsApp, 0877 98 98 98. Some of these are fascinating that you'd never even think of. As a tall person, it's very annoying going to concerts because the person behind you always taps on your shoulder to say they can't see the gig because of you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not your fault you're tall.
No. So what do you do if you go to a gig?
Yeah, what do you do?
Should you just, lie on the ground or whatever?
Keep your messages coming in to 0877 98 98 98. If you're really tall or really small, what are the downsides for you? What issues have you got? Okay, what else have we got?
Oh, here's another one. As a tall person, I'm over 6.5 foot. It's very hard to find a bed that my feet don't stretch out the end. How short are beds?
But if you have an average 6 foot bed and you're 6'6", your feet are going to stick out the end of the bed.
By 6 inches, if my maths is correct.
Or you have to curl up in the fetal position just to go to sleep.
Why, is 6 inches the longest bed, or 6 feet?
6 foot is the average bed, yeah. I don't think you'll get a bed longer than 6 foot long.
So they don't make beds for long people?
No, you just have to curl up.
Okay, here's another one. I don't know if anybody has witnessed this. As a tall person, it's pretty much impossible to fit into a middle-sized car. As a tall person, try getting into a Ford Fiesta or a Nissan Micra. It's virtually impossible.
I can only imagine how difficult it is getting into a very small car when you're very tall. It must be really, really uncomfortable.
Oh, even getting your legs into the car.
Exactly. I'm 5'3", and my boyfriend is 6'4". Average is boring, says that message. Okay.
Here's another one. I'm 6'3", and my wife is 5 foot. Now, 5 foot is fairly short, isn't it?
5 foot is fairly short.
5 foot would be fairly short. Yeah. So we just don't hug each other. Jeez, that sounds like an ideal marriage, actually.
Now, Tony, you are what height?
6'3".
And your wife is
5 foot.
Ooh.
Oh.
So that's 1 foot and 3 inches in the difference.
Yes.
Now, that must make it very awkward. For example, if you're having a photograph taken of the two of you, the person taking the photograph must have to stand miles back in order to get you both in.
In photographs, it's actually very funny.
Is it really?
Yeah, I nearly have to lean my elbow on her shoulder to even put my arm near her.
Right, okay, so...
And did my son, who was 10, is taller than her.
Oh, that's awkward.
Your son, who's 10, is taller than her?
Yep.
Wow.
So what were the wedding photographs like when you were kissing the bride and all that? I mean...
Did she stand on a stool?
Adrian.
No, I kneeled down.
Oh, did you? Right, okay.
But the actual wedding photographs, they obviously looked a bit off, did they?
Slightly, yeah, but you make do. You have to.
All right, very good. 6'3", and what are the downsides? 6'3" is fairly tall, Tony. What are the downsides to being tall?
Back problems.
Really?
Massive back problems. Yeah.
And that's directly relating to your height.
Oh, I'd say so. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you've constant back pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my mate who's 6'6", he's a monster of a fella now. He's actually a basketball player as well. But he stopped buying, and I don't know if you can relate to this, Tony, he stopped buying laces, shoes with laces, because he was sick of having to bend over and tie them. So he just buys Velcro straps for his shoes now. So that, because you imagine if you're 6.5 foot, Adrian, having to bend over to tie your shoelaces every day. Jeez, that's not good.
No, it's not good.
No,
all right, now, Tony, you're 6'3" and your wife is 5 foot. That's 1 foot and 3 inches in the difference. And Paddy, I'm trying to calculate here, there's 1 foot and 3 inches in the difference with you and your other half. But you're what height?
6'8".
6'8", you big giant.
I'm gorgeous.
Now, okay, and your wife is 5'5".
Yeah.
So you're lucky you don't have Tony's wife, who's only 5 foot.
Yeah, her father used to say to me, you must have to hang her on the railings to give her a kiss.
You're literally in different time zones to your wife, though. They're in completely different time zones. It's like 4 o'clock where she is, and it's 5 o'clock where you are.
Being that tall, now 6'8" is very tall. What are the downsides? What's the problems you have being that tall?
I mean, the usual sitting seats, finding somewhere to sit in a bus, or I don't find it a problem. Just get on with it.
You just get on with it, yeah.
Just get on with it.
If you're in a bus, do you have to stoop your head down?
Yes.
Yes, I would have thought so, yeah.
I stoop my head going through doors, just in case.
Now, there's one good thing I just thought of, Paddy, because your wife is so short and you're so tall, yeah? When you go out to the pub for a drink with her, you can rest your pint on top of her head.
I have done, yeah.
Yeah, you don't need a bar table, Adrian.
And guess where I got punched?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's that small and she turns around to hit you a dig. Where is he getting punched?
Well, it's not me chin anyway.
No, indeed. Here, you might be able to relate to this then, Paddy. As a tall person, it's impossible finding a shirt that fits your arm length whilst also fitting your body size. It's either one or the other.
No, I don't have that problem.
You don't have that problem, all right.
Find an 18-inch neck will do it.
And that is long enough for your arms as well, is it?
Yeah.
One of the other good things, Paddy, I know from a mate of mine who's the same height as you, for Halloween, he can dress up as Herman Munster, no problem. All he has to do, the 2 bolts in his neck.
And that's it, he's done.
That's it, it's completely done.
Yeah, you don't need the platforms.
Finally, Alan, you are what height?
6'7".
And 6'7" is huge, yeah. You'd be towering over me. I'd be looking up at you. I'm 5'10".
I did. I've met you a few times, and I remember you always flag me every time I meet you.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, fair enough. And that brings with it back pain as well, does it?
Oh, it does. Like, I drive for a living, I do, so I do a ridiculous amount of miles every day. And you just feel at the end of the day, the back is being bit.
When you get out of is it a truck or
no, it's a car.
It's a car, right? So when you get out of the car, your back is in bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I should imagine it's difficult.
And how are you in bed at night?
That's his business.
What?
That's none of your business.
Sorry, I don't mean how good are you at performing. I mean,
an odd question to ask a listener.
No, it's not. How far out of the bed are your feet?
Well, the feet do hang out, but just kind of bend the legs, and it's not too bad.
Jeez,
I don't like it too much, but it's all right.
But on a freezing cold night, when your little piggy toes are out the end of your bed,
I know. You just don't make beds big enough.
All right, very good. Back pain is a big problem for tall people. Lads, I'm 5 foot tall and my other half is 6'1". I love the fact that he is so much bigger than me. Another one says, I'm 6'6" and I can't stand up on the upper deck of a bus and I can't use toilets under the stairs.
Now here's someone, you wouldn't expect a woman to be this height. Lauren texted in, she's 5'9", Adrian. That's very tall for a woman, isn't she?
Yep.
I have to sit down the back of the bus because the big row of seats are too close together and my legs don't fit. Now I haven't been on a bus in donkey's years. Are the buses for pygmies as well, are they?
No, if you're over the average height, it's an issue.
It's no good for
All right, thanks very much indeed. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. Going to talk about bonfires and killjoys after the break. It feels to me that more than in most other years, we are being urged and encouraged to report the illegal stockpiling of materials for Halloween bonfires. It's everywhere. The fire brigade are urging us to do it. Local councillors are urging us to do it. It started already, and in housing estates all over Dublin, gangs of youths are collecting pallets and tyres and wood and everything else. And it's something that's gone on for years. And I want to just speak to one particular councillor from... Councillor Dahi Doolan is on the line. Dahi, welcome to 98 FM.
Good to be here.
Dahi, this is a particular issue around Drimna at the moment, is it?
Well, it is, and well, it's probably an issue in a lot of communities, to be honest, but I've noticed a specific increase in stockpiling in Drimna, and unfortunately, people taking to lighting bonfires already and damaging and vandalising Brickfield Park and some of the parks in Crumlin as well, where they've in fact taken to cutting down some of the trees, which is unacceptable, lighting fires at the base of the tree, which damages the tree and sometimes permanently, unacceptable. And I would make a plea to young people, whoever's on, I'm assuming it's young people, but anybody involved in information, to come forward and contact the Gardaí on this. And one of the I suppose, as we debate and discuss this many years on your show, the key to success in all this is very simple. Gardaí, City Council, Dublin Fire Brigade, working together, listening to people, getting the calls about the stockpiling and then responding. And one deep concern I have this year is, unfortunately, I've had reports that the Gardaí and some of the stations have used up their overtime because of the Pope's visit. Much of the overtime that they've been budgeted for has been used up, so there is no overtime coming into Halloween. So I actually have a motion on the agenda for the South Central Area Committee this month, requesting that the Assistant Commissioner for Dublin ensures that there's enough overtime and resources for Gardaí, specifically in our own area, but right across Dublin, to respond to the extra demands.
Let me ask you, Dahi. This is something I'm not a young fella anymore, and this is something we did when we were kids. We went out and collected bonfire stuff, and we built a bonfire and had great fun and blah 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 blah. It was part of growing up, to be quite honest. Are you and others not being killjoys, urging people to report the stockpiling of bonfire material?
Well, I suppose let's also be honest. When you're young and you feel that nothing no damage will ever happen to you or those around you, people were hurt. If you look back on reports in Dublin that there was serious disturbances, there was violence, there was drunken aggression, there was people hurt by bonfires, by fireworks. That did happen. But when you're young, when you and I were young, we felt we were battle hardy, we were bulletproof, it wouldn't happen to us. And in many cases we were lucky it didn't, but it does happen. People do get hurt, property does get damaged. Animals and elderly and vulnerable people are terrorised this time of year, and our job as we get older is not to be party poopers, but to ensure that those people involved in that level of activity, a minority, are taken away from that activity. And what we have put in place, particularly here in Dublin City Council, must applaud City Council for this, is positive activiactivities, particularly in the run up to the bonfires on the 31st. Diversionary tactics are being used, and they actually
okay, but young fellas of 13, 14, 15, they're not interested in face painting. They want to just go around and collect. Other
activities. We have controlled fireworks displays. We have parades. We have Halloween. Failing the sound takes place.
Okay, but I do understand.
It's important that the younger people, the younger children, like my age children who are quite young, they also get involved in positive activity, so they're taken away from the influence of the more negative activities, and they don't feel that's the norm, and that's important.
Okay, but I do understand that bonfires are illegal, and that's something that has been stated over the last couple of weeks, but they've always been illegal. I'm just wondering, are we taking the fun out of it?
No, I don't believe we are, actually. I think what we're doing, we're actually ensuring that the fun is pain-free, that people can have fun, they can go out trick-or-treating, they can go out and enjoy themselves, they can enjoy the build-up to Halloween. But what we don't want is people getting hurt, burnt, firecrackers through the letterbox, neighbours terrorised, animals terrorised. All that's unacceptable. And that's not fun. And we're not trying to take the fun out of it, we're trying to take the harm out of Halloween. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay, so just very quickly, Dahi, what is the harm in having a bonfire?
Because it does, where it happens is often in open public spaces and parks and football pitches like Brickfield, like Lansdowne Valley, and it can destroy sometimes permanently the shrubbery, the environment. It's also the toxins from the fire, from the actual tires themselves. It's a danger to the young people. It also attracts some unsafe and antisocial behaviour, and I don't want any of our young people exposed to that or made vulnerable. And I would encourage your listeners, as they always have done, is done the right thing, is report the bonfire material, report to the Dublin City Council, and we'll ensure that it's responded to as quickly as possible and people have a happy, safe and harm-free Halloween.
All right, Councillor Dahi Doolan, thank you very much indeed for joining us on 98 FM. And I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. Are the council and the fire brigade and everybody else being killjoys, urging us to report the stockpiling of bonfire material? Call me right now, 6797 981. Live and exclusive to Dublin's 98 FM, Monday through Friday between 10 and midday. This is Adrian Kennedy. You're with 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And Georgie is here with Wednesday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. Emma Vic Vahuna will be laid to rest following a funeral mass in the city today. Her funeral procession is due to pass by the Dole, government buildings and the Department of Health. She was one of the women given incorrect smear results and died from cervical cancer on Sunday. Meanwhile, the author of the report into the cervical screening programme says people who've had their cervical smear test misread should be compensated. Dublin City councillors have objected plans to demolish a public swimming pool and an apartment block on Townsend Street. The plans were put forward by the National Transport Authority to make way for the Metrolink rail line. And the White House has confirmed Kanye West is to meet US President Donald Trump on Thursday. They're expected to discuss prison reform and gang violence. Now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Wednesday morning, I hope everything is good in your world. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and between now and midday today, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Now, I've been given some facts and figures here about bonfires. According to the latest figures to hand from the council, the annual cost in 2016 for cleaning up just one area of the city, and that's the south central area, after Halloween was 30 grand. In total, it's estimated that around 150 tonnes of waste and bonfire material was removed over the Halloween period by council workers. Today, the council is urging residents to report any stockpiling and also reminding people that bonfires are in fact illegal. Yes, we know that. They always have been, haven't they? A lot of people feel that by doing this, they are taking the fun out of Halloween and that bonfires is part of our culture. And the only thing I can say is that I remember doing it when I was young. I remember being out collecting. And in fact, I got this message in a moment ago and it says, Adrian, it's only fun for the day that's in it for the kids. I loved collecting wood as a kid for the fire also. And on Halloween morning, I will be dropping a van load of pallets in my garden and let the kids take the pallets to the field for the fire. And the point being, it's only a bit of fun for a day, like, get over yourselves. Stop making such a big deal out of it. Mind you, it just shows you we all forget about being kids because the amount of messages I'm getting in saying, no, they are not being killjoys. It's illegal now. And that's it. Nothing to do with antisocial behaviour. It's the ozone layer and emissions from the fires. It's a European thing. Yes, it's sad. I don't think that's really the reason that they're urging us to squeal on bonfire material because of an EU directive. If you work for the fire brigade, how much do you dread Halloween night? How busy are you on Halloween night? Call us on 6797 981 or send us a text or WhatsApp message to 0877 98 98 98. Stephen, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Stephen.
Yeah, good evening. Yourself?
Stephen, you have reported stockpiling 3 times in 1 week.
2 weeks. And I'm going to do it today again if we see them at it again, Adrian. And I make no apologies for it.
What's your issue?
Okay, well, I've no problem with the fire. I just have a problem where it is in our estate. Our estate, for the last 3 years, we've a fantastic community spirit up here. And
So you live in the Finglas area?
Yeah, Meekstown.
Okay, yeah.
Town shopping centre there. Now, the area just won an award for best kept area in Fingal. We've all put a lot of hard work into the area and it's spotless and it's looking really well. Now, last year, the bonfire was held in the middle of the grass in the park, right beside the pollinator garden that we've fought for years. And this year, it'll definitely kill off them plants, the toxic fumes from the tires. But the grass hasn't recovered in 6 years from the bonfires. And it's just taking the look off our area that we're walking very
Stephen, geez, we had a black patch in the green near our house for years on end as well. It wasn't the end of the world.
Oh, and I said it to the lads. I said, lads, no problem with the fire. Will you just move it off the grass? That's the only problem I have with it. You can put it somewhere else. Like, there's 100 fields around here, Adrian. You're from St. Margaret, you know where I am.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Fucking fields everywhere beside us here.
So is it they're putting the bonfire on the green in the estate?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's destroying the look that we're fighting to keep.
So if the lads would move it somewhere else, then you wouldn't be ratting on them.
But when you talk to one or two of them, you just get abused. So I don't know where else to turn, you know what I mean? But I'm not
But you're going to make yourself very popular if you keep squealing on them.
I don't care, Adrian. I don't care. I've worked too hard for it to be destroyed. You know what I mean? Like, we're fighting for stuff for years here. And we get it then and it'll be destroyed by one night. And half the youths that will be at it aren't even out of this estate. That's the gas thing about it, Adrian.
Okay, so if they keep building the bonfire in the same green area in your estate, you'll keep squealing on them.
I'm going down now to see if there's any wood in where to keep it. And if there is, I'm going to ring them straight after you.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. 6797981 is our telephone number. Is he right? Is he right to do it? Stephen, when you were younger, did you build bonfires?
I did, and I used to love it, Adrian, but I was a youngster then. You know, I was a youngster then, and I regret it.
Now you're an elf. Oh, you regret it?
Yeah, I do regret it.
What do you regret about it?
Because if there had been people doing what we were doing here, and we destroyed their areas, well, then I do regret it, of course I do.
And why? What did you destroy?
Well, we used to have our bonfire in the school in Cabra. And I know for a fact that the school probably couldn't afford to clean up the damage because we used to destroy the back where the kids used to play. And there used to be JCBs in for a week after us. So, yeah, I do regret it. All
right, okay, stay there for 1 second. 6797981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Are people not being killjoys by reporting on young people stockpiling for firework or for bonfires? And as I said, I know they're illegal. I know we shouldn't be doing it, but we all did it. And now that we're all grown up, the amount of people who are texting us to say, I've already contacted the council about the stockpiling of bonfire material. Mark, tell me what you witnessed the other day in Ballybock.
How's it going, Adrian?
Good, thanks, Mark.
I was coming home on the East Wall Road back to Ballyoff, and there was a group of about 10 lads around this one big tractor tyre, bleeding, baiting the head off each other.
Over a tractor tyre?
Over a tractor tyre.
Right.
About 10 of them, right? And I know there's a big problem, like there's Ballybock collectors, East Wall collectors, all that. And they try and get the biggest one, biggest bonfire in the night. And it's just crazy, Adrian.
And, okay, do you think people are right to be ringing the council or whatever, reporting the stockpiling of tractor tyres or whatever it is they're collecting?
Absolutely. It's illegal.
It was always illegal, Mark.
I know.
Did you never have bonfires when you were younger?
Never. I lived in Ballybock my whole life, never done it, never touched it.
Jeez, you must have been the only young fella around there that didn't.
Adrian, there's plenty now.
No, not many. Jesus, I was a little goody two-shoes young fella and I still went out collecting firewood for the bonfire. Adele, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Adele.
Hi, Adrian.
Now, Adele, you don't think that this is taking the fun out of Halloween?
No, I do. It's not taking the fun out, but Adrian, what it boils down to is respect. Like, when I was young, I grew up in Tallaght, we had the bonfires, but the big difference between when we were kids and the kids now is just respect. There's no respect there. Plus, the bonfires, when we grew up in Tallaght, they were all controlled.
Controlled by what?
The community used to get involved. Everybody used to collect them all together. It'd be all fenced off. you weren't allowed near them. There was a gate or fence between us and the fire. We went around with our parents, and then it was put out after, say, 10, 11 o'clock that night. But now they're just putting them up anywhere, putting everything into it. And unfortunately, I've volunteered with the DSPCA, and I've seen the really dark side of bonfires. There's a big difference now. So,
and don't get me wrong, Adele. I understand there are some idiots around who will mistreat animals. I remember last year hearing of a cat being thrown onto a bonfire, and that's just vile.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
I had my cat killed when I was 12 with bangers down her throat.
Okay, and that is vile. I agree.
Yeah, it does stick with me.
But even when I was a young fella, you did have people carrying on disgracefully. I'm just wondering, is it a case that we've all gotten old now, and we just want to spoil it all for the kids?
No.
We forget what it was like when we were young.
No, I think it's a whole different generation.
Obviously, it's a whole different generation. But are they any different to what you might have been like, or I might have been like when I was younger?
No. There's a big difference. Even their attitude now. Their attitude is, everything is for them and everything is replaceable. They don't care. Because I remember the parents on my road, they used to love Halloween because it was like, geez, this is a chance to get our new sofa and the old sofa, which was recycled with the kids.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Adele. We're losing you there, Adele. Sean, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Sean?
Not too bad, Adrian. Yourself?
Sean, you have a friend who has a truck. And what does your friend with the truck, the man with the van, do?
He works for an articular company, I'm not sure which company now, but he's working there since I was about 9.
Right.
And every Halloween, he'd always come out to us, because he'd always ask his dad to do it for us. And on, give or take, a day or two before Halloween or on the day, he'd come out with it, with his Arctic full, and you're talking truck tires, you're talking lorry tires, tractor tires, cars, vans, whatever. And he'd roll them all out to us, and he'd unzip, and he'd be like, right, lads, in you go. Do you know what I mean? As if to say, I got them for you, you hardly think I'm going to roll them out for you.
So he would literally rock up with his Arctic full of stuff for the bonfire and let them help themselves.
He would, yeah. Every year without fail.
I'd say he was a legend in the area, was he?
Oh, he was, yeah. Johnny, we'd always go to him and say, right, when are we expecting you to, with the goods, and he would always yeah, no, but the lads, ain't good time. He says, don't worry, I won't let you down.
So it meant that, does he still do this?
He did, yeah. The other day now, I was just down there seeing friends and all that, and I seen him, they must have been about 13, 14, but I seen a gang of about 10 young fellas, talking to him. Obviously a big smile on their face.
Happy as Larry getting their free bonfire material. No hassle collecting it and everything else.
No hassle at all.
Yeah, you see, I'm just wondering, when I hear of the amount of people who are picking up the phone, are ringing the council, are telling people the lads around here are collecting firewood and it's stored in such and such a place, I just wonder, what's become of do we forget that we were all young once?
To be honest, Adrian, me personally, like the other woman there when she was on saying, it is a different generation now compared to the way we were.
I know, when you say things like that, it makes you sound so old and so out of touch, Sean. Yes, obviously it's a different generation now, but I'm sure when we were younger, adults around there, those kids, they're really bold or whatever. That's just a generational thing.
Well, it is just a generational thing, but I personally, I don't see the harm in it. I mean, even to this day, when he was there, when you were talking to him, you would have had another 10 people going around knocking on the estate doors, asking them, did they have any wood, any pallets, even soap, whatever. Knocking on every house in the estate.
And that's the point. That's the only point I'm trying to make here. You would swear the way people are going on that bonfires is such a new phenomenon in Dublin at Halloween. It's not. It's gone on for years.
Well, from what I can understand, Adrian, it's just I'm 25 now myself, but as my dad always tells me, bonfires have been around well before my day.
That's exactly the point I'm trying to make.
You know what I mean? And so back then it was okay, back then it was cool, but now all of a sudden it's a big problem.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. And look, I do accept, and don't get me wrong, I know there are people in certain areas that have really bad chronic antisocial behaviour, particularly surrounding bonfires. And if you've a specific reason as to why, we heard Stephen's specific reason as to why he has reported the stockpiling of bonfire material, because they're setting the bonfire in the middle of a green that they've campaigned for years to get done, get it finished, and then the lads come along, they set up the bonfire and destroy the bloody thing. I get that. I understand that, and I can relate to that. But listening to a lot of you, you'd like bonfires banned altogether. Now, they are illegal, and I'm not in any way trying to argue against that, but my but is we were all kids. Anne, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Anne.
Hi, Adrian.
Now, Anne, tell me what happened. They stole your wheelie bins last year.
Yeah, like every Halloween night, all the wheelie bins, not just mine, but you wake up the next morning and there's no bins left. And they're all burnt in the field, in the green facing us. But it's €50 the bin companies are charging us to replace the bins. You know, we have to pay to replace the bins. The bin company don't replace them for us, so we have to pay, you know?
Now, again, it bothers me that they would do something like that, burning wheelie bins and all that. Yeah, that is ridiculous. And I mean, the advice, obviously, for anybody around Halloween is to keep your wheelie bins locked up as much as you possibly can.
It doesn't matter. They still get them. It doesn't matter. I had the two of them locked, and they still just pull them out. And you're afraid to go out to them because, like, when you're living on your own, you know, there's about 10 or 20 of them outside your gate, so you don't go out and confront them, not when you're living on your own, old age pensioner, do you know what I mean?
Okay, so answer me this. Halloween night and the couple of days beforehand, is it a nerve-wracking time for somebody like yourself?
No, because you don't see the stockpile. They have it all hid, like they hide it well. They really do. But on the night, it just comes out of nowhere. You never see nothing like it. And vans pulling up and trucks with all their waste from their factories or whatever, but it's, you know, it really is a joke now. Like, I mean, you don't mind a bonfire for. I mean, Halloween is only for kids, like not for.
And where did you grow up, Anne?
I grew up in Dundrum.
In Dundrum, and did you not have bonfires in Dundrum? No.
Well, we had a proper bonfire. Like, it wasn't.
What's a proper bonfire?
It's for children, not for fellas drinking cans and drunk and everything and out all night outside your house. It's, you know.
Well, I can honestly tell you, I grew up in Ballybrack, and I can honestly tell you that when I was a young fella, and that's not yesterday or the day before, it was exactly the same.
No, it wasn't exactly the same. No,
it was.
How was it? Like,
you had young fellas hanging around the fire, guys in their mid to late teens hanging around the fire, drinking cans and everything else. That happened when I was a young fella.
Halloween is for children, not for drunken louts, young fellas out all night in front of your house drink. No, it didn't go on. No, I don't believe that. No, it's only the young fellas growing up now. And you daren't say anything to them, because if you do, you'll have no windows the next day or whatever. No, it wasn't like that. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. Like,
okay,
my children are growing up.
Let me read out this message that just come in, and it says, lads, bonfires existed before the modern Halloween that we celebrate. It was a way for our ancestors to celebrate the Celtic New Year when we celebrated Samhain. We're great at rolling out our diddly-eye crap for tourists, but it's as if we are actively trying to ignore our own history. Ask people where bonfires come from, and I bet they won't be able to tell you. Now, that's a fair point, but it is part of tradition. Kieran, Clondalkin, how bad is it with bonfires?
It's not too bad. The area where I come from now, we all meet up and we all help out with the bonfire, and the kids all help out. Even the parents in the housing estate now, they'd come out and they'd all sit around and we'd all watch the bonfire. So
and what do you make of the amount? Well, firstly, the way we're being encouraged to contact the council and report bonfire stockpiling, but you yourself are actually involved in collecting bonfire material.
Yeah. We'd all help out. We'd all do our little piece for the community.
And do you think these people who are, you know, calling the council or whatever, are they killjoys, or can you understand it?
Because they actually were kids themselves. It's one day of the year. Kids all look forward to getting all their old clothes on and getting out and getting dirty and building something up, and something that they're all doing together, you know. So I don't understand why people are all grassing on each other and being so in for the community. Sure, there's worse things happening out there, you know what I mean? And they're not grassing on other people doing this and doing that.
Okay, so you think it is no harm? They're not doing anything wrong if they're out collecting bonfire material?
No. It's great for them all to be together and that, you know what I mean? Working together.
Okay, well, stay there and let me just bring in one last call, and that's you, Rachel. You're on 98 FM. How are you?
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Now, Rachel, your solution to this comes down to the councils.
Yeah, I actually think, because I tell you why, right? I think the council, what they should do is basically you should, in each estate or each area, designate a spot in each area so that there isn't like 10 bonfires in one estate. Or I have to say, where I live now, I'm in Tallaght as well, and I have to say there's one area where, and I have to say, I love seeing the kids getting all excited about it because everyone comes together. They need to get the communities involved in it, get the communities gathering the wood, holding the wood.
Well, that's exactly what Kieran was saying there a second ago.
Yeah. And I have to say, I think people that are killed, like that woman saying, no, this doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. That has been happening for years.
And,
I'm in the 40s.
I don't know where.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point I was trying to make. That when we were younger, you'd have the bonfire, and it'd start. They'd light the bonfire as soon as it got dark, and then we'd all gather around the bonfire, and then the younger kids would head home, and the young fellas would hang around the rest of the evening drinking. It did happen when I was younger.
This people may not believe this, but I swear to good God, this is the truth. Every Halloween, I've been living where I'm living now about 8 years, right? In this part of Tallaght, and it's probably what people would class as one of the rougher parts. But I swear to God, every single year on Halloween, my estate is really quiet after 9 o'clock. Everyone goes up to the bonfire, they're around the bonfire, the kids are gone to bed, a few fireworks to go to bed, and that's it. And that's it, because because people are involved together. Do you know what I mean? Because the parents are involved. The parents are looking out for the kids. They're keeping them a safe distance, but they're still allowing everyone to just.
And maybe that's where the problem is, that we have lost that community spirit in many areas. And I'm looking at the message.
Well, can you imagine the cost of the council's cleaning bill would be literally more than halved if they kept one spot in each estate and said, okay, get together as a community. It's on yous now. Yous have this part. There you go.
Yeah, no, I actually think that's a great idea. Instead of destroying lovely greens and estates like Stephen was on about.
No, because they're being told they have nowhere, so they're just throwing them anywhere. Give them a spot. There's one part in where I live where they do it every year. It's away from everything. It bothers no one. Everyone loves it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like the council go ballistic over it, but they're doing nothing with the space. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. Like, the communities come together. When you see the kids gathering a bit of firewood, do you know what I mean? They're so excited.
Well, like I said,
people rather they're out robbing shops or
no, but like I was saying earlier on, I remember it with fondness as a child going around collecting the bonfire material. Do you know what I mean?
And it was brilliant. I even see it now. It's like, and you can see the joy in the kids' faces, because even the kids all come together. Even the kids all come together, and they're doing it together, and there's more kind of communication with them. They're all excited. There's something for them to do. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, why do people want to take that away from them?
All right, thanks very much indeed for your call. Jeremy is here with just a final wrap-up, because there's a huge reaction to that. A final wrap-up of messages on text, on WhatsApp and on Facebook.
Okay, first of all, I think it'd be prudent to give out the number to report illegal stockpiling, or will that upset you, Adrian?
No, off you go.
No, you're okay to do that. The council, they're getting on top of this year, and they have given a hotline number for those of you who are interested. Here's the hotline number. It's 1-800-251-500. That is the Dublin City Council's litter hotline, 1-800-251-500. But in typical City Council, it's only open till 5 p.m. in the afternoon.
Oh, right. So if you spot some young fellas... All right. Okay.
No, I've more news. I know, it's very Dublin, isn't it?
Yeah, go on.
After 7 o'clock, don't ring us. No, there is a 24-hour emergency, national emergency.
It's hardly a national emergency now if the lads have a couple of pallets in the trolley.
Well, it's an environmental emergency, they're saying. So the number for that is 1850 365 121. That's 1850 365 121. But the best number to do it between 9 and 5, Monday to Friday as well. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. 1-800-251-500. 081 500. Now, Adrian, the team have been looking at different injuries sustained by bonfires, and what the burns unit of St. James's Hospital have been saying about this, they say this every year, is the reason bonfires can be so dangerous. Okay, you could be standing there looking at a bonfire from a distance, and they say the problem with bonfires is when accelerants are thrown onto the fire. Now, do you know what an accelerant is?
Yeah, of course I do. Like a gas canister or...
Okay, so you get gobshites throwing cans of Lynx aftershave or deodorant onto a bonfire, and what happens then, obviously, sparks come out of the bonfire, and that's what causes what they call, they're called flash flame burns. That's what they're called. So that's what you need to be aware of. Here's some of your text messages. Brian says, I can't believe you're taking the fun out of Halloween. We all grew up on it. How many people have died because of bonfires, says Brian?
I'm sure there have been, and I know animals have certainly been killed or injured. But look, we've always had idiots. It's not like we've a new supply of teenage idiots. We've always had teenage idiots.
And that's the point that Anthony is making. He says, unfortunately, bonfires always attract a certain type of person. They attract young fellas who've been drinking cider in the fields all day, acting like gobshites. It's not a safe environment. Another person says, why can't the council put on bonfires for the people if that's what they want? That's not going to happen. The council aren't going to organise bonfires. What is the big deal? And this is the question that... where's this message now? Yes, Amy asked this question, and I have to agree with you, Amy. I'm sorry, guys. I don't get this. What is the big deal about a group of people standing around a fire? Should you have a fire in your house? Why would you need to do it?
It's actually a very good point. It's actually a very good point, really.
On Halloween night, you go to...
bloody freezing. You're standing around a fire.
No, but you go to any field in Dublin, and all you will see is a group of young fellas standing there with their hands down their tracksuits. All right.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Nice fire. My bonfire is bigger than your bonfire. What did they get out of it?
It's a good question, actually. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. Here's a question for you. Would you end a relationship over a kiss? Would you break up with your partner if they'd a drunken kiss with someone behind your back? Should someone who does that be forgiven and given another chance? After all, there are a lot worse things that someone can do than a quick kiss while they're drunk. Well, this whole debate has been brought up this week over the whole Strictly Come Dancing. This is comedian Sean Walsh, who is on Strictly. He was pictured kissing his dance partner Katia Jones outside a London pub last Wednesday. It was on his girlfriend's birthday, but anyway. Now, Katia has offered an apology, claiming it didn't reflect on her marriage and that she loves her husband. And they're both claiming that it was a one-off bit of madness. Blah, 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 blah. The question is, would you end a relationship over one kiss? Call me right now on 6797981. Oh yeah. Here's a bit of audio from what's that nutjob's name?
Katie Hopkins.
Oh, Katie Hopkins. Yeah. Have a listen to what Katie Hopkins said about the outrage over the kiss.
To all those calling for Sean and Katja to be kicked off of Strictly, would you please take a look at yourself? Did you never do anything naughty? Are there no skeletons in your closet? Did you never do anything that you regret or had to say sorry for? Secondly, who made you the morality police? Do you go around at night with your cane and your burqa on, whipping people for drinking or kissing in the alleyways? And also, it's a dance competition. These two have been greasing around each other for the last month like oiled eels. What did you expect to happen? You don't really want Sean kicked off of Strictly. You're holding his ex-girlfriend and her cat up like every bitter spinster ever because of the hurt that was done to you. You want Sean to pay for every man that ever broke your heart or made you feel less of a woman or less good about yourself. Well, big news. Sean isn't to blame. They made a mistake. They've said, sorry, please do get over yourself. It isn't like they've had sex in a field.
No, there you go. It's a mistake. They said sorry. Get over yourselves. Would you end a relationship over a kiss? Call me right now on 6797981. I have a question for you. If you are in a relationship, and I want you to answer this on text for me, okay? If you are in a relationship and you found out that your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife had a drunken kiss with somebody, Would you end that relationship? Okay, so here's the question. I want you to just answer yes or no and send your text to 0877 98 98 98. The question is, would you end a relationship over a drunken kiss? That's it. Nothing else happened. It was just a drunken kiss. It wasn't a full-blown affair. It was a drunken kiss. Would you end a relationship over a drunken kiss? I want you to text the word yes or the word no to 0877 98 98 98. Okay, so simple as that. Text the word yes or the word no to 0877 98 98 98. Would you end a relationship over a one-off drunken kiss? That's the question that I want to ask you. I want you to just text yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Let me read this text that's just come in. No, I wouldn't end a relationship over a kiss. It shouldn't have happened, but things happen. But you have to look at the bigger picture. That could have destroyed one of their partners. You have no idea what, if anything, it did. I'll give an example. I split with my partner after 9 years. It was only about 4.5 months ago. She thinks I'm grand. Truth is, I can barely drag myself out of bed each day. It destroys me. But I'm doing a good job at hiding it. So just think of that when making up your mind. My answer is no, you shouldn't end it over a kiss, says Daniel. So it's quite simply text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. And once again, the question is, would you end a relationship over a one-off drunken kiss? That's it. Just answer yes or no and send it to me right now to 0877 98 98 98. Now, as you know, this whole story circulates around comedian Sean Walsh. He's on I'm a Celebrity. No. He's on Strictly Come Dancing, and he was caught kissing. He was caught on camera kissing his dance partner Katya Jones outside a London pub last week. They both said sorry. But the clamour of people calling for him to be dumped off Strictly Come Dancing by the BBC, honestly, unbelievable amount of people. And in response to that, here's what Katie Hopkins has to say.
To all those calling for Sean and Katya to be kicked off of Strictly, would you please take a look at yourself? Did you never do anything naughty? Are there no skeletons in your closet? Did you never do anything that you regret or had to say sorry for? Secondly, who made you the morality police? Do you go around at night with your cane and your burqa on, whipping people for drinking or kissing in the alleyways? And also, it's a dance competition. These two have been greasing around each other for the last month like oiled eels. What did you expect to happen? You don't really want Sean kicked off of Strictly. You're holding his ex-girlfriend and her cat up like every bitter spinster ever because of the hurt that was done to you. You want Sean to pay for every man that ever broke your heart or made you feel less of a woman or less good about yourself. Well, big news. Sean isn't to blame. They made a mistake. They've said sorry. Please do get over yourself. It isn't like they've had sex in a field.
Okay, there you go. They made a mistake. They said sorry. It was a mistake. Blah, 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 blah. I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. Would you end a relationship over a drunken kiss? That's what I want to hear from you. On 6797 981. And keep those votes coming in. Just answer yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. There's interesting results coming in on this, actually. Would you end a relationship over a drunken kiss? Yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Ed, you're on Dublin's 98 FM. How are you, Ed?
Adrian, how are you?
Ed, is it worth wasting years of a relationship over a drunken kiss?
No, providing it was a one-off, providing that it was a case that like it's never happened before with anybody else. There's the whole trust issue there as well. But for a kiss, no. I mean, I wouldn't be pleased with it. Don't get me wrong.
No, of course not. No, of course you wouldn't be jumping around for joy.
No, but God forbid, I'm sure if it was me, my wife wouldn't be pleased with me. But no, I mean, I'd be in the doghouse sleeping in the garden shed for a month on end, but no.
Okay, so you believe that if it was a one-off, a drunken snog, you could get over it?
You wouldn't be, look, with the proviso, you wouldn't be happy with it. There's no way you'd be happy with it, but you would get over it. Look, what's the old saying, Adrian? Let he who is without sin, let
and that's exactly what Katie Hopkins was trying to say here.
Yeah,
you know, there are people demanding that this guy be sacked off Strictly, that his dance partner lose her gig on Strictly, and all of that over a drunken kiss that happens to have been photographed and end up in all the newspapers.
Adrian, for every person calling for this guy's testicles to be handed up on a silver platter, you'd have to. They would all have to ask themselves something really simple: have they ever done something stupid?
And I think every single one of us has at one stage or another.
Come here, there is none of us not guilty of that. We've all done something stupid. It's how we handle ourselves after. If you fess up, apologise contritely and mean it. Look, as I say, your partner wouldn't be happy about it. You wouldn't expect them to be happy about it. But at the end of the relationship, no.
All right, stay there for 1 second. We got this message in a moment ago. Adrian says this message. I made the mistake of kissing someone in a drunk state and my partner forgave me. But if the shoe was on the other foot, I would end it. I don't know why, but that's just me. Now, that does seem very double standards, doesn't it? It really does. So that person was forgetting. I don't know if this is a man or a woman, actually. I can't make head nor tail. It doesn't say. But anyway, the point being that I kissed somebody in a drunken state. My partner forgave me. But if the shoe was on the other foot, I would end it. Don't know why, but that's just me. I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. Would you end a relationship over a one-off drunken kiss? We're back in just a moment. I asked you a couple of minutes ago, would you end a relationship over a drunken kiss? A one-off on a night out, and your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever kisses somebody in a drunken state. Yeah. Here's the answer to my question. Would you end a relationship over it? 52% of you said no. 48% of you said yes, but a slight majority of you said no, you wouldn't end a relationship because of a one-off drunken kiss. You wouldn't. Interesting. Okay, let's take some more calls on this. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Sue, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Sue.
Hi, how are you?
Well, Sue, what's your view on this?
Well, I suppose the majority of people, I wouldn't end a good relationship on just one kiss like that. I think mistakes happen, and you know the person you're with well enough to know if they mean it or not, and it was one off and whatever. But I have to say now, if there were other factors in it, and
other factors like what?
Like if they had a bit of a roving eye lately, or they were kind of cynical lately, or they were kind of take me for granted or whatever, if the relationship had come down to a level like that and they did that, you must be joking to be gone in a minute.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, and I'm very interested in that poll, that a slight majority of people said no, they wouldn't end a relationship over a one-off drunken kiss.
Yeah.
But let me read this message, actually, Sue, and get your opinion on this, okay? Because one of our listeners just sent this in to us, and it says, my wife of 15 years kissed a fella from work in a taxi after a work night out. I wasn't happy, but I was able to get over it. But I only found out after I found a text on her phone and found out that they were texting for a couple of months. I'm still with her for the kids, but there is no trust. So she kisses a fella in the taxi on the way home, found out that they were actually in contact with each other, so it wasn't really a one-off. He's still with her, but just for the sake of the kids. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that is that, and I think there's more to that. Obviously, there is more, because by virtue of the fact that the texts are there. I mean, you don't know who's instigating that, whether it's the guy coming on to her or she coming on. But the fact that she's answering, I suppose she's tolerating it. But I think maybe a good conversation and work it out, like staying for the kids. I have to say I did that myself, and it worked for me, because I was glad I stayed for the kids, and then when it came to a time, I threw my fellow out. But up to that, I think you have to work it out. I think you have to sit and talk. And
do you think it's possible? Because this is the key question here. Another message says, if your other half cheated on you, even with a kiss, how could you ever trust that person again? Every time that they're out late or stay in a friend's house, it would play on your mind without a doubt.
Well, this is where the conversation has to come into play, and you already know your fella. You know if he's lying, or your girlfriend, depends, or wife, whatever. You know if they're lying through their teeth, or you'd have a good inclination. But I think you really have to go for it and say, well, look, we'll just give it a go. But I mean, if you're not going to work on this with me, forget it. I'm prepared to go one more time. I'm prepared to hear you and take what you're saying as okay. But I'm no idiot. We might like the relationship, but we're not that needy. You know what I mean? There's nobody that needy that you have to be walked over or treated like that. And I think you just have to, it's a matter of kind of just literally stamping your foot and saying, no, go again, and you're gone. But, if you really care for the person, they really care for you. And of course, when there's kids involved, that's a huge thing in the relationship as well. It's another thing to consider. But no, I don't think anyone has to put up with that crap, really.
Okay.
If you don't have to.
Somebody just said, in answer to our poll where I said that 52% said no, they wouldn't end a relationship over a kiss, 48% said yes. Somebody texted in to say, I think your poll is more indicative of the fact that half of us have actually done this at one time or another. And I think and that was the point that Katie Hopkins was making.
Well, I think even if you haven't thought about doing it, to be honest about it, we're human, and the attraction that we feel for other people. You can be in a fantastic relationship. You can be absolutely delighted, and it can be your second time round. You can have learned from the first time. Doesn't matter, whatever the things are. But you can actually be truly, truly happy with the person. But you can still look at another person and go, wouldn't mind giving him or her a kiss. End the story. But as to whether you would do it, no. So I think in being human and acknowledging the fact that we are human, of course it can happen. And after a few drinks, and somebody made this comment, who was it? Anyway, it was your one, Hopkins, about the fact that they were grieving up with her term. But I suppose really and truly when you get on with someone like that, and you're having a laugh, and it is quite, the dancing is quite intimate and that, and it's grand. And of course they're two good looking people. I don't actually know them really. But having said that, then when it just comes to a few jars out of a nice bit of crack and you have a kiss at the end of it, when you put those into the pot, maybe it's not as big a deal. And then not only that, but paparazzi and media today just love to make something of nearly nothing. I won't say it's nothing, but to make something more of things. South Papers, it gets you doing a poll. It gets people talking. It gets your one Hopkins talking, so.
Well, I suppose so. Let me read out a few more of your messages. Having said no, that I wouldn't finish a relationship over one kiss, I would deal with it as a wake-up call to our relationship. If my partner prefers someone else or was taking me for granted or was having a bit of a roving eye, in fact, I think that might have been that call, that lady's call, yeah. And here's another one. I'm in a 9-year relationship and can honestly say I would end our relationship if he or I kissed someone else. I'd be hurt and jealous and couldn't forgive. I think if you're kissing someone else, whether you're drunk or not, in that moment, you wanted that person and not your other half. That's not love. They've ended their current relationship the moment they kissed someone else. We're all human and may feel for someone else when in a relationship, but acting on those feelings shows that you're out of love with your other half. Ooh, right, okay. Billy, you're married how long?
Oh, God, I was following the statement, thought you weren't going to come to I'm 27 years married, Adrian, now I am.
7 years married?
No, 27.
Oh, 27, sorry.
Yeah.
27 years married.
Yeah, my Mrs. Kiss someone now. The thing I don't like you saying, and I'm actually getting sick of listening to you saying all the time, a drunken kiss. Don't give me that crap about the
Yeah, we all do stupid things when we're drunk.
Yes,
Billy.
and I agree with Katie Hopkins. Yes, we've all got closets, skeletons in our closets. Yeah, but we're not regards in being unfaithful. We don't. I have skeletons, but I'm not going to tell you them, and you're not going to tell me yours. But regards since I got married, I've been faithful, and my wife has been, and I expect her to stay that way. And why would she kiss anybody? She'd have no business kissing anybody, and I'd have no business kissing anybody either myself. So I would... let's be honest, we're not teenagers here. My missus was kissing somebody like that last text says. Obviously she mustn't love me then or something. And let's be honest, a kiss doesn't lead to a kiss. It leads to sex as well, Adrian. Come on, we're all older people here now. We're not teenagers.
Okay, but what if it's just some... I won't say a randomer, but somebody you're talking to and you're being nice to and you end up snogging that person at the end of the night?
Why would you want to snog? If she has someone she's working with, they're really, really nice, and she wants to give them kiss them in the cheek and say thanks very much, Paul, and then I say thanks very much, Helen, or whatever. Kissing. She's no business kissing somebody in the lips. She's married to me. She loves me. I love her. Why would she want to kiss somebody else? Simple as that. And drunken. Don't give me the excuse of drunken.
Okay.
There's people that don't drink.
So what if you found out that your missus kissed somebody else, regardless of the circumstances, you would end a 27-year marriage?
I tell you, it'd be, I don't know, it's a trust issue there, Adrian, the texter said, and why would the last text there they read out, the very last text, about, why would she be kissing someone she's supposed to love me, and why would she kiss me, she thinks it's me or something, or, you know what I'm saying, I don't understand why would you be doing it,
Okay, but let me just read out one final message on this, and it says, yes, in answer to my question, would you end a relationship over a kiss? Yes, and I did. I caught my fiancée kissing a lad 4 months before our wedding. I confronted her. She tried to make it like it was nothing, but I still ended there. 9 months later, they got married. The moral of the story, there is always more to just a kiss. Oh, right, the whole wedding ended. Wow, okay. And, sorry, there was one more message there that I wanted to read out, and it's disappeared off my screen. All right, well, thank you very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And that's it from us for today. We're back with you again tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And listen, if there's anything you want to get in contact with us about, you send us an email to dublintalks@98fm.com. dublintalks@98fm.com. You can also send us a private message through our Facebook page. If there's anything going on in your world or in your area that you think we should be talking about, send us a private message through our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. We'll see you at 10 o'clock in the morning. Barry Dunn is on the way, and in the next hour, he's got some great music lined up, like these.
FM's Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. New wood flooring fitted in time for Christmas. DesKelly.ie.
98 FM.